Welcome to Stockin' Knit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as J Knitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. I noticed last week that I said my full name anyway. I'm like, I'm Megan Williams, also known as Just Run It. Like it'll take a little bit of practice. Yep. So today is January 17th. It's been that all day.
Not just part of the day.
Yep. Lucky number 13th episode here.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Well,
we got it past the
13th. Okay. Not yet.
Yep.
Things could happen.
Yep.
Well, I just mean like camera could malfunction.
It's true.
Disaster could
Last
strike.
Friday was Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even think about that all day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Just didn't occur to me. But, did we want to just get right into
Jump right into it? No chitty chatty. You said you had a lot to talk about this week, so we should
Well, I had a lot of things come in the mail, and
Yep.
I was like, okay, and then some of my shout outs are going to be kind of talky. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to say thank you to Candy, aka Candyland. She sent me a late birthday present today. So thank you so very much, Candy. I love late birthday presents because they almost take on like a random act of kindness feel to them. Mm-hmm. Like they're just out of the blue, and you're like, oh wow. If it all happens on the same day, I kind of like to draw it out, especially with my birthday being so close to Christmas. Like, oh, okay, January 17th, I get a birthday present. Perfect. So thank you, Candy.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all the shout outs I got.
Well, I have been, running low on podcasts and been searching some out, and through Plurk, basically, when somebody says, hey, my new episode is up, I've started clicking on them. So 3 that I gathered just recently, Mommy Needs Yarn, and that is Erin with the bright blue eyes. Oh my gosh, that's the thing that I noticed like completely when I was watching her. I was like, your eyes are seriously blue.
Yeah.
And it doesn't show up that way when you're looking at project pages or, blog posts, but in the video I was like, goodness sakes.
And I've watched her podcast before too, and it does take on a very, like, her kids kind of wander in sometimes. And it's like,
I enjoyed that. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Like the one that I watched, the kid he came in and wanted to play Grand Theft Auto. And he's like a little squirt, 2.5, 3, I don't know. Wants to play Grand Theft Auto. Just like, no, put that back.
Yeah.
Then he wanders off again. Yeah, it was cute. And then, What You Swatchin'? With Emily, and I thought that was fun. She's only on like 7 or 8. I mean, very few podcasts.
Where's she out of?
DC area.
Okay.
So that's fun for me because my sister-in-law is in the DC area, and so I, before Christmas, sent her to Fiberspace, and so she talks about all those places and how she's taking classes there, and so it's just kind of fun to hear about things going on in the DC area, and knowing that, I'm going to probably come back there someday to visit. And my sister-in-law is moving to the Hill, like the Hill, Capitol Hill.
Wow.
This summer, she hopes. So there's somebody losing a roommate, and she's going to be slotted to fill her spot, maybe. So hopefully that works out, and she gets to be on the Hill. She's in Bethesda now, so it's not like, I don't know, Bethesda's the rich area or ritzy area. So it's not that much different. But right now she's rooming with a bunch of men, and this will be a women rooming experience, so it'll be different.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I'm going to mention is Knitting in Circles with Amy. What a nice name, but spelled differently. And her husband, who knits.
Cool.
So I keep trying to show Matt that, and he said something really funny. Much like your husband might be. He's like, imagine how, like, many brownie points, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, he's getting for that, I'm like, I don't know that would score you that many brownie points there, sir.
I would worry about sharing my stash seriously. Like,
Oh,
if
yeah.
my husband knit and we were, I'd be like, no, you can't have that. That's fine. But
That's true. You'd have like
the Addicted to Yarn. She was teaching her husband on that last episode how to knit as well. And it was just funny, some of the comments.
Start filming again, Miss Ma'am. I know she's busy with her Etsy shop, but busy.
I friended her just to stalk her finished objects pictures, and she's had some finished objects lately, so I wonder if that she lets those accumulate and has a show. I don't know.
Could be. I don't know her schedule. I know that she's very busy over there, and she's been updating her Etsy shop, but not anything else. I will say that I had a Plurk conversation that ended in a Banana Republic purchase with Erin and Emily. So we're going to be the, Banana Republic Cardi sisters. We'll all have the same cardi. I don't know if we all bought the same color, but we all have the same color.
It's like super sale, or are you just all
It was pretty, I don't know, okay, so get this straight. Emily was wearing it in her latest podcast, and people were asking, what's that sweater? And so she linked it, and then it was like half off, but then there was an additional 30% off sale going on at that moment, so you pop it in your cart and it ends up being really cheap, a quarter of the price that it once was, and you're like, all right, score, hook me up.
Yeah.
So, and it was really cute. And I did go with the small because she said it was really big in the medium large that she normally is, and to go down, she went all the way down to an extra small. So I was like, okay, well, I probably don't want it that small, but I'll go with the small. Cool. I will trust your review of the sizing on it. But that was it. But I thought that I've been watching a lot of podcasts lately, and I've been putting them in my reader, but some of them come up and I'm like, I'm kind of busy, I'm not going to get around to it, but I thought that these were really fun ones that I was going to get back to, so I thought I would mention them. And then I saw that out on Plurk, What You Swatchin' got like a shout out from Miss Leslie. So, wow.
Yeah, there's been a lot of podcast love. Cool. There's been threads and ear burns, and just seems like everybody wants the word out.
Yeah.
We are not hoarding our followers. We are sharing. So.
Yes. And it's a lot of whatever, self-fulfilling, we all watch each other.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like just a big circle.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
All right. In the odds and ends section here, I was going to talk about Amy and I both got registered for Yarn Over. Yay! And in fact, it said it was supposed to be 8 o'clock the next morning, and I just happened to go out there, and I was just making sure that they locked it down so you couldn't get into it, and we got registered the night before, so
we did.
And they took my money, so I am registered for that class. I am taking the AM class with 3 Irish girls, Sharon McMahon, about knitting with hand-dyed yarn. Mostly because I have like this neurosis where even with this, I had a different yarn picked out, and I didn't like how the drastic color changes were knitting up. So I didn't know if she had some insights or just a way to get around, like maybe some psychotherapy, like electroshock. Like, does this look okay with you? Does this look okay to you? No. Oh, yes, it looks fine now, or something. So I'm taking that in the AM, and what are you taking? Remember?
AM.
Yes.
Spindling silk with Amy Singer. So I'm learning to spin some silk on a drop spindle.
Oh dear.
I know, slippery slope. That the What You Swatchin' made me laugh because she was like all giddy about buying a wheel after taking one little class on spinning, and she's going nuts with her new fascination.
Yeah,
so.
well, Diane of Knittables has been talking how she's and then
she's been spinning some beautiful stuff up lately.
Yeah,
my goodness.
And I saw it on the forums. People were telling you that when you go to SSK and you're gonna have all those folks around, I think you're just gonna come back and I won't even recognize you.
Yeah.
Who's that spinner over there?
Well, and I will have gotten a chance to meet Erin, Emily. I mean, all these people are going. So I'm sorry.
Rub it in. Rub it in. You had a baby last June when all these sign-ups were in. Rub it in. I just couldn't even imagine at that point.
Oh,
even a year away,
I
being away from him. Like, oh no, I won't go next year. And now it's like, get me out of this house.
Well, and just like having started podcasting since when I won to now, I'm like way more like, oh, I gotta, watch all these podcasts and meet all these women before I meet these women.
Yeah.
And getting out on Plurk has really helped with that too. And I just know that I am gonna have no problem fitting in, and I'm gonna have an awesome time. And I don't even know who I'm rooming with, and I get to meet Christy this weekend. So she's gonna be my flying buddy.
Yeah. And that segues into, well, let's talk about the PM classes. I'm taking Socks from the Yarn Up with Miss Clara Parks.
Yes, I'm excited about that. We're both taking that one.
There's only 25 spots, and Amy and I are 2 of them, so very excited. She's the author of the Knitter's Book of Yarn and Knitter's Book of Socks.
And wool.
And
there's
wool.
a Knitter's Book of Wool, right?
There's 3 of them, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be fun. I mean, if anything,
do you have
I'll
books?
just get my... I do.
Okay, I need to get mine.
Well, I don't have the Knitter's Book of Sock that she's covering, but I have the other one, or the first one. I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty excited because I have used that book a lot when people ask me questions. I'm like, like non-knitters ask me questions about content and wool. I'm like, I'm not quite sure because, I'm not really a fiberista. I'm not into the spinning yet. So some of the content, I don't know how, fiber lengths and all that stuff. So the Big Book of Yarn really helped with that. And I'm sure the Big Book of Wool would be even better. So I'm going to hold that one off. I'm going to get the Big Book of Sock Yarn before the class.
Yeah.
So.
And we're both very excited about that, but that's at the end of April.
Yes.
Upcoming is the zombie meetup in Lakeville on this Saturday, January 21st.
Woo-hoo.
Yes, I can't wait to meet Christy and meet, I think there's 5 other people besides us RSVP'd.
And the shop just advertised us coming there in their forums, so
their regulars are probably like, ooh, the heck are these people? Wow. They're coming to my shop. Get them out of here.
Yeah.
But
I have no idea.
I'm just really excited to put faces with, because I mean, as I put it out in the forums, you guys can see us, but we cannot see you. So it would be really nice to put a face with some of, especially folks that, and I'm guilty of that now too. Their avatar is something that's not their face, right? So when I think of Kismet, what does she look like? What
a bird knitting.
Yeah.
What does she look like? She looks like a bird knitting.
So, and we'll have stories to tell, I'm sure, next week. And I'm going to make sure to remember to bring my camera so that we've got photos, not just phone photos of all the folks that are attending. And then just one last, I don't know if you've heard, or maybe if you're just catching up, this is you've been away for a while. We're doing an Knitalong, January and February. We've got currently, I think it was up to 76 projects tagged, and I think we're up to 12 finished objects. So that's exciting. Folks are knitting cardigans, and they're not all shaloms, but Amy and I finished my shalom, and Amy's still working on hers. So come along and join us. There's still, half of January and all of February, and if you do it as fast as some folks did.
I'm looking at you, Sarah. She mentioned the other day, something about casting on a sweater and yarn, and how, the shalom doesn't take too much yarn. I'm talking to you.
And somebody asked whether or not they could do 2 cardigans or, multiple cardigans in that time frame, and I said go for it.
Oh,
if you want to
get double count in
the FO, sure.
Okay.
I mean, they're knitting 2 cardigans.
This is true.
And finishing it in 2 months. Go you. So the official thread actually said 1 picture per project per person. So if another person has, or if that same person has another project, then it's per project, so another entry.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any problem with that.
Okay. You heard it here. I heard
First,
it here.
and she's ambivalent, so apparently.
I'm okay with that. I won't get more than 2 done, though.
Yeah.
Bummer if I
Well,
don't.
you're not in the drawing. You're not eligible.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I can't win my own prizes.
You're not eligible, so don't even think about it that way. All right, we have chitter-chattered long enough. Finished objects. I have, from the exciting new designer, a stocking or a zombie envelope.
Yay.
And I'm going to spring this on you, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it out without laughing. There's a story behind it, and I'm going to try to make it very succinct here, but it's been very unseasonably warm here.
Yeah.
And I found myself without a hat. And so I think Amy should repost the pattern, and I've got
It's like a cat.
It's like a cat, and like I've got a little rat tail here. I'm bringing back the retro rat tail in the back. I was rocking it in Rochester, Minnesota. I was walking down the street with my stocking zombie envelope on my head. So Amy didn't realize it, but she had to.
And you knit the iPad.
The iPad version. It's pretty roomy. I bet you could go home and try your Kindle one on your head. But you could probably, sew on some felt, and you'd really look like a cat / rat / whatever you wanted to be. So my envelope doesn't have any technology in it, but it did serve as a little warm.
So now we'll just take pictures of your FO on your head and put those on the project.
Yeah, that, or if you favor one ear. You could have the spiky do this way. See? I don't know. It was like
breathe.
I
can't breathe.
So maybe I should have let her know that I was going to do that before. But so all of you that have envelopes in works, they can also be used as hats. I did the swirl hat out of my leftover from my son's socks. And I photographed it on my daughter's head. I really like how it culminates. It's almost like a tasty treat swirly cone. Comes up to the top. And so those are my 2 FOs. This is gonna, it gets a lot softer once you wash it. This yarn in particular. Kind of scratchy right now, but
so my finished objects, nothing. I will say that I was pretty upset. Like Leslie, blogged or did their podcast, and she held up a tutu that she had made, and I'm like, I just made one of those this week too. It was just the oddest thing in the world. Like, I made one for my daughter's 4th birthday, and it's purple and blue and pink, and so I do have one of those type of
just
FOs too. Yeah, tulle, and you just loop it around. It was just like the one Leslie showed, except different colors. And I was like, really, like I guess great minds think alike.
Yes,
I will think that. But yeah, nothing in knitting, because there's a lot of things that are just tantalizingly close to being done. And I want them done by Friday / Saturday.
Oh, yes, so that you can wear it.
I will share it in whips, though, because I brought it.
All right. Well, go right ahead.
Okay. I will show you what I'm working on. This is my daughter's Nyan cat socks. And you can see the afterthought is right there.
Oh, that's a nice place for it. Did you do that on purpose, or did it just end up being?
I planned on it, but it really was like, woo, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done. Maybe it could have been through the pink, but yeah, it just ended up being perfect. And then I'm probably going to end after this rainbow row and go to the cuff in the opposite color. So these could be a hoe for next week. And then, let's see. everything got a little bit of love this week. So
Good.
I got
That's a
yeah, 2 more or 1 whole other repeat of the pattern on this one.
beautiful.
And I'm not even sure if I'm showing you the right side. I am not. There we go.
Well, you said it's reversible, right?
No, not this one.
Oh, it's not double-sided?
No.
I thought it was. Okay, sorry.
Oh. And then, while the grandmas were here helping with the party and
Ooh.
Miss Lucy, I knitted on this. And I have taken the sleeves off.
Ooh.
And I
Have you
tried
tried it on?
Yes, I did.
Cool.
It seems like right now, not blocked. It's like this far away from each other, and I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, mine
you
was
know,
a
it
little
seemed
tight through
really
there.
seemed like, well, I could wear it open, but then I have this giant hole sitting here that isn't very pretty. Ooh. But
Yeah.
But I figure I'm not going to do shaping after having seen that and how it opened. I don't want to do any of the shaping. And I love the pockets you did, so I'm going to do something with pockets.
Cool.
So that's, almost ball 2.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say. I think it took me to ball 2 to get down through the.
So almost ball 2.
And so you're halfway there.
Yeah.
But you're pacer. You're a little bit ahead of the game.
Oh, I know. But I had gotten so close to biting them off, and then I was like, okay,
You
well,
wanna
and
be
I
able to
wanted to
try
go
them
a
on.
little bit further down so I could try it on. So I did. And then, let's see. Okay, here's the big one. It's good. It needs me to reach and get Buddy's sweater. I am sewing this thing together. Woohoo! So I have,
You blocked it.
yes. So I have the arms sewn in.
Sorry, I'm sniffing here.
But the arms aren't sewn together. And then the back isn't sewn up yet, but I really want to do that, ASAP. So I think that
there just must be something in the air because you're about done. Christy got hers done. Christina knits. And
Karen got
Karen's
hers done.
getting her done. She
she
did get it.
She
Oh.
wore it on Monday.
Ah,
So
must be all you guys coming together.
maybe it's that whole, like, it's been a year. I need to get this done.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, not sewn together, not sewn together.
Did you
But-
throw the instructions out the window, or did you?
No, I followed them so far. Pretty good. I did, need to go, rip some of it out and fudge the numbers again because the backs weren't meeting in the center when I got done. But very limited amounts of, here, I'm going to have to go the other way.
Oh, yep. These are this string.
And that's it. And I did what they suggested and left the sleeve yarn, attached so that you could add length if you needed to. I know that I'm not going to need to, but they have you doing the last little bit of the sleeve edge after you've sewn it together. So I thought that I would keep with that since I have so far. And throw that back in its home. Just a little thing there. And
Could you possibly have any more?
oh, I do. I worked on these
I've
too.
been holding off on this row for you. I'm just gonna get.
No, this is it.
Okay.
And then half of a sock.
Ah.
So it was like here, and then it made it to here, and now I've turned the heel, and we are on the home stretch. But these are getting, portable knitting work done because, as you can see, all the other ones are huge and big, and then this one's too complex, and yeah. So. And I might start traveling with the Shalom, but then I would get done too fast. So.
All right, my work in progress
Yeah.
is a thin ice, and this is Knit Picks Stroll hand paint. The other yarn that I had, the Sweet George's Cash Lace, the color changes were too drastic. So like, I got to past this first little ziggy-zaggy into the, and then all of a sudden, all you could really see were the huge color changes. So very dark blue, very light blue, very dark blue, very light blue. And it wasn't necessarily pooling or striping or streaking or doing any of those words that you say. It just wasn't, I mean, it was distracting from the pattern. So this is changing colors, as you can see, but it's not as drastic. Yeah, you see more of the work versus, and somebody else is already doing it, or doing it for the Diane of Knittables Thin Ice Knitalong in this exact same colorway with this exact same yarn, and she said she has 3 balls. I messaged her and I said, oh, that looks lovely, I'm doing one too. And she's like, oh, I've got 3 balls, hopefully you do too, because it gets really long those last few rows. And I was like, I'm doing 1 until it runs out, because I'm not a big scarf person. This is already getting kind of big and it's not blocked, but it's a circular shawl, and it's by Miss Linneman. She said that was that she loved that you called her Miss but Lala of Knit Girls. This is her pattern, Thin Ice. I'm enjoying it. It's a nice little, there's enough changes that I'm not just doing, although I am on a stocking knit section here that was kind of like, but doubling stitches here pretty soon, and then it will be a not be able to do 1 row in 1 sitting type piece of work. But again, really liking the colors, really liking the pattern.
Cool.
Yeah. Good. And then I don't have an up next. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I think I want to do another cardigan or a pullover. I'm kind of sorely missing in the pullover, but I get so warm. It's nice to be able to take off a cardigan. So deciding patterns coming up is my up next. I also need to decide what I'm going to wear on Saturday. Which one of my knitted pieces of work? Like, well, I could wear the traveling sweater, but mine's not going to look as new and shiny as your guys's. It's all, it's felted in certain places and fuzzing up in others. So it's gotten a lot of love in the last, I don't remember when I finished it, probably a year. So.
Mine is Danger Crafts. So I'm going to be doing a Rebecca Danger pattern come heck or high water. I'm in a swap for Dancing Dog Dye Works.
Okay.
And so I have picked out something. It might be Rebecca Danger, but it doesn't have to be. And then the SSK Knit Along for this 6 weeks is a Rebecca Danger pattern. And then there was one other.
I was going to say, so, and sorry for my ignorance here, but are these all people that are going to be at SSK then? Designers, or because it was Kristen Kapoor and okay.
Yep. Vendors and teachers.
Okay.
So I think there's only 4 teachers. So yeah, it's Wendy, Kristen Kapoor, and Rebecca Danger, and then one other person. Maybe it's Laura. I don't remember what the 4th teacher was. And then the vendors. So they had a list of like Stacy from Tempted Yarns and Lisa from Fiber Nymph, and you could pick anything. There's Cloud Lover, but basically the vendors that they listed, my love for them has been so recent that I don't have hardly anything by them. Like I've had some Stacy Tempted yarns in my stash, but they're all fingering or lace, or they're not Danger, Rebecca Danger type patterns, yarn. And then same with Lisa, like I have Nyan Cat, and I have yet to score any others.
Yeah. And you get like extra points if you use fiber or yarn. Okay.
Yes. And that's what I want. And I think it's just 2 extra points, but it's like, oh, if I can get 2 extra points, I'd like them. But
we both excelled in academia, so I think, extra credit or any sort of rating system. Yes.
Well, and to get ultimate points, you have to actually spin fiber from said vendor and then knit with it. So it's like, okay, I cannot do that. But I want to get the max that I can. I did on the other 2 patterns, but now I'm running low on my, quantities of fiber, or yarn from those vendors. if it hadn't been toys, I did have enough to do something fun in Tempted yarn. But I'm kind of bummed because now I'm like, what to do. I'll probably just end up picking a pattern and going with that and getting minimal points. Unless somebody can hook me up before then, but
Do you see many D-stashes out on Ravelry for any of that?
I suppose I could look. I haven't really been looking. I had enough in my stash that it's kind of like, well, maybe, they'll all be, smaller weight yarns, and I could bust out some of that for, a tiny danger pattern. I've done those before, but I don't know. I was hoping for something quick and simple, so I might just make my Rebecca Danger pattern in some Dancing Dog Dye Works, and because I love that combination so much.
Yeah.
And I also want to get Molly on and off before the end of the month, so it's toys. Yep. Toys. I must cast on toys. But like I said, I'm so happy to be finishing up socks and sweaters and whatnot. All other cast-ons have, I'm in a finished object run, and I'm like, I want to keep going, get more finished objects. That's it.
All right.
Danger.
Danger of all sorts. I broke my yarn diet, and it got here very quickly. This
pretty.
Yes. Let me get the card.
That's a nice red.
It is Versace Knits, VersaceKnits.com. That is, it doesn't blow me away as softness as far as being 100% cashmere, but it's an Aran, sorry, not Arian. I pronounced it wrong at the beginning of my knitting career, and now it's sticking with me. Aran weight or chunky, and it's 100% cashmere, and she's got, they're doing a Knitalong for one of their patterns right now, Lattice Work, I believe, is the coupon code, and so this used to be $50, this skein of 200 and some yards of, and now it's 25. So I got 4 of them, which again, my husband was like, that was really expensive, wasn't it? I was like, well, if I bought it full price, it would have been really expensive. But at half price, $100 for a sweater's worth of 100% cashmere isn't too bad, especially in that thick of a weight. So I don't know if that will become my next sweater or not, but the colorway is Poinsettia. And I don't know, are you blown away by that? Maybe it'll wash up really. It's not like overly like, oh my god, pure heaven.
It's almost as if like blends are more appealing in the skein.
Yeah, and or just maybe because this is 10 ply and it's had to be so tightly spun. I don't know. Don't know, but I will be able to tell you once I knit it up. So I'm excited about it all the same. It's a very pretty color. It's not like scratchy, just not like pure heaven as I assumed it would be.
Right.
100% cashmere. Have you ever felt 100% cashmere yarn before?
I have, but it was not an Aran weight,
Yeah.
It was like a lace or something, right? That was very lightly spun and seemed very decadent and lofty. But
that is my acquisitions. I also got the new knit seam came in the mail for me, and we won't be reviewing that this week. But
I want that. Maybe I'll just buy it at the meetup.
Yeah, yep, I got it auto shipped to me. So.
Yeah, I am excited to look at that one. And then my acquisitions are some purchased, but a lot of them came in my loopy swap. So I'm going to share what I got in my loopy swap because I was so spoiled.
Yeah.
Yay, share. So, share, Cricket, made me this giant project bag that is the bottomless pit of project bags. Like this is my, patterns, and then it's got my name cross-stitched.
Yeah.
I misspoke. And then, like pockets quilted here, and it's got little sheep that knit. And it's just, again, and this is just one big giant pocket in here. But see, like, it fits everything.
all of her whips.
Yes, it
which
does.
There are many.
Like, I was like, put them all in, and I'm like, oh, I could put that one in there too, and that one, you know. So there were ones that I wasn't actively working on that would have fit in here, but I didn't need them to.
I'm excited to get mine.
Yeah.
Water nitrous is something I've seen for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she made me a box bag.
Oh, cool. And it matches the...
Yeah. And then I also got a file folder type of enclosed thing where it has pockets that zipper, kind of like those Bass Pro Shop ones that people have been talking about, but it's been handmade and it matches all of the things that I got. And it's super exciting. And then on top of all this loveliness, she got me patterns that are really pretty. So these are colorwork patterns. I'm not sure about lighting. I've never held up a shiny thing to our camera before. But and then yarn to make it.
Cool.
And I have not gotten octopus before, so that's new to me. And it's very exciting. It's a really awesome red. And then
Loopy series.
yeah, just a solid series in the white to go with it, so that it matches pattern precisely, so color work. And
what did she knit you?
She knit me something so awesome, and I forgot it, so I will show it next week.
Okay.
But it was knit out of this awesome Epiphany. So Epiphany is 60% royal alpaca, 20% cashmere, and 20% silk. And this is the color it was, and there are pictures out on my thread of my finished object. It was a hooded scarf that she knit for me, and it's lovely. It's got like a bajillion cables in it. It's beautiful. And it's a big hood that makes me feel very elvish, you know, like, you know, the Lord of the Rings, you know, very elvish. And so now I have this because I've been wanting to knit a sabbatical, and I've been thinking about different yarns, and this is the one that has been like calling my name lately, and I would love to be able, I'm going to use this to swatch for that. So I'm excited because I never thought I'd be able to get to try it out before I jumped in, because, you know, it's a commitment.
Well,
and
it was much deserved. You've done those loopy swaps for a long time, so I'm glad that you got a great partner.
Yes, and I'm hoping to pass the torch to somebody new. I will hand over all of my Excel spreadsheets and wisdom about how to run it. I'm just kind of need a hiatus, and so if people want one, you know, this spring, fall, Christmas, whatever they are, they're, you know, they usually fall, and then this one. So maybe there was a summer one at some point, but again, I need a break, at least for one or two, a timeout. So if anybody listening is in the loopy swap and really wants to take on the challenge and has the time, it is pretty simple. I mean, I've got it down to where it's manageable. It's just that once you've matched everybody and people's lives get kind of crazy, there's a lot of, like, I don't know, pressure to keep it going and make sure that everybody has somebody, and I'm just kind of, I need a break.
Yeah. Met some great people through it though, right?
Yes. Bacon Fairy.
Yeah. And I met Show Me Your Knits.
Yes.
Who was a friend of Leslie and Laura's. So.
Yep. Bacon Fairy was one of my first matches that I made for myself. When I read her questionnaire, we had the same musical interests. So it was like, oh, sign me up. Take her. She was wonderful. I still love my flowery socks, if you're watching.
I remember you bringing those to Knit Night.
Yes, they're so cool. And then for the ones that I purchased, I caught a loopy Woolmaza.
Bacon Fairy gave me a hard time about that. I thought you were on a yarn diet. And I was like, Woolmaza doesn't come around, you know, like where you can buy it not through a D-stash very often. So you grab it when you can.
Yeah, I decided to go with the two-tone multicolor kind. So this one's a purpley pink, and the other one's just kind of blue, almost to black. and I love the color of this blue so much. This might get knit before anything else that's in my stash of wool mice.
What will it be?
Socks, because it's twin, and I haven't knit myself wool mice socks yet, and yeah. So I'm excited. I'm pretty excited.
But yeah,
yeah,
those are both beautiful. The color on their dye is so bright.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, I've been collecting for far too long. Like
Yeah.
I've made one project with it, and then I collect it and look at it and say, oh, it's too pretty to knit with.
Yeah.
You know, and I just, enjoy having it. But then I think, okay, I've had things knit for me in it, and so I have multiple things that are made out of it, and I think, just take the plunge, make something. Gotta make something. Gotta break down and make something.
Yeah, I made my daffodil out of the lace garn, and
Ooh, yeah.
You need to use it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's good stuff. I don't have, well, I do have lace garn, so I have sweaters quantities worth if I use that.
Yeah, well, that's why I got addicted to it, because it's so nice to be able to say, I don't, you couldn't probably have bought sweater quantities worth of that
Right.
from the store.
Well,
so
I think that they're
it all
allowing
comes
you
in one
two
scale.
now,
Oh.
but,
So it could be like 1,000 yards of.
yeah, 1,000 yards. It wouldn't be like anything you wanted to knit,
Yeah.
which the lace garn is pretty much anything you wanted to knit. You
Yeah.
can knit a blanket.
Yeah.
A lacy blanket.
1,700 yards is quite a lot. Yes.
So
It's all guaranteed to be in the same dye lot too, which is really nice.
Right.
It's like
it's all one big skein.
Yeah, Christina Knit said that she got some skeins that were mismatched and had to rip out her Rocky Coast cardigan.
Oh yes, I did hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't have that problem when it all comes in one big skein. Although I do need a bigger ball winder. I've been like trying to figure out how to wind up something that gets that big. You'll just need to. I just ended up making it into 3 balls, which it pained me. It's like, oh, I have to cut this into 3 pieces. What if this is right in a place where I don't want it to be?
I was trying to think. Did I wind? No, I didn't wind up that whole. The first thing I knit was from a half skein that somebody de-stashed to me. So it was like my first coveted ooh, it's pretty purple. Like I had gotten one other Woomies at that time, and I was like, it's an okay color, but this was such a beautiful purple I wanted to cast it on right away, and it was already balled in a half hank or whatever. So, and there was plenty. I had tons left over. But anyway,
My daughter would love anything made out of that.
yes, it's called True Love.
Ooh, bright pink, bright purple.
Yeah. And then I don't know where we at. 43 minutes. Okay, so the other thing that I had to mention is that my mom was here for my daughter's birthday, and she brought me a whole bunch of stuff to share, and she's giving some stuff away for the podcast, but I don't know when I'll give it away. I think we have quite a good selection of prizes right now, and maybe we can hold on to these for something else. But I just wanted to go ahead and show you. So little project bags, just kind of like the ones that I had bought from other people. But what had gotten her to the point where she was going to make me a project bag to give away is that she's making camera bags.
Oh.
So, I was like, well, we could give away a camera bag, but it's not a photographing podcast, so people would repurpose it, but, so she's like, well, no, I'll just make you a project bag that looks like it goes with my
So that's
bags.
a DLR type.
Yes, so this is you can see.
I don't know. I bet if you took a cross section of the knitting community, most of them, that there'd be a greater saturation of photographer type folks.
True.
Because of project
Creative
photos and yarn photos, and there's some beautiful ones out there.
So you can see that my Nikon fits in there pretty well, with enough room for a larger lens and a wallet and other things. And then if you look away, to the sides of the padding, there's pockets. And some of the ones she has made with SD card pockets.
What does that mean?
The little SD card that's in
SD. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
SD. I was like, SD. What's that? Like Estes Park, or what's an SD pocket? Sorry.
And then
woo!
They just kind of cinch up like that, and she puts really long straps so that you can wear it crossbody and get in and out. You know, take your shots, put it back. Because she does amateur, well, semi-professional photography for people. She does like weddings and school pictures and things like that.
So she's just making them for you, or does she have like an Etsy shop or something that we could?
We can't link anything yet.
Okay.
She's behind.
Okay.
So she needs to get busy because I know she watches, and she's been knitting a shalom.
Huh?
It's got yes. She showed it to me, and we discussed how to watch what stitches. Because she's not a knitter. She was a crocheter for a long time. We talked about knitting. She started a baby blanket, but then never finished it. And then when she was watching the podcast and we kept talking about her shalom, she finally took the plunge.
Cool.
To get back into knitting. So, yes, she had some mistakes in the yoke. And we were just talking about how to look at your knitting and see where you're at. And she got it right away. She's like, oh, that's how you tell what a purl stitch and a knit stitch is. And so she's on her way, but she's on the stockinette part, the boring part.
Ferocious.
Yeah.
First thing that she's out of the park, she's doing a garment.
Yeah, she didn't even finish the one project that she started with, so yeah.
Wow.
And then, so yeah, again, so this, like I said, this coordinates with the camera bag that I showed you. And Mom, maybe this is my birthday present since we didn't finish the earring holder. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
She's got very pretty fabric choices.
Yeah.
Coordinating as well.
So, again, she needs to get busy. She's a photographer. She needs to take pictures and get them up on Etsy.
Yeah.
And as soon as she does, I'm sure we'll be talking about it again and linking. But she had given those to me this weekend. So I thought I would share. And I do think that her little camera bags are very clever. And she's gotten a lot of orders from her Shutterbug Club. And yeah, it's just cool.
Very cool.
But yeah, crafty family.
Yes. My mom never did like crafts growing up, but now I call her my sweatshop mommy. She makes hats and mittens and pants and yep. She's constantly in front of her sewing machine. So had to get Amy to get me involved in knitting, which you can take with you anywhere.
Yes.
Which is the selling point for me because the sewing machine,
yes,
just isn't very portable.
So we'll just take a few minutes to talk about your rapid progression. It seemed like I talked to you one week and you're working with your giant Joanne Sensations and you have power knitted 3,000 hats, right? You just blazing through them and then was the Cool House before or after the yarn addiction?
That was the first Christmas that I knit, so it would have been before a year turned over.
Okay.
And those were all out of not Vanna's Choice, but the Carrie and Simply Soft.
So before the yarn addiction,
yes,
she was knitting Cool House hats with all those little crosses, and multiples. I knit one and I was done. You knit how many?
I don't. Yeah, at least 5. At least 5.
So then, and then shortly thereafter, you were addicted to webs.
Yep. I was out there shopping, and actually, I think my geekdom. I started to try to figure out how I could get. So I was being very stingy still with my yarn. How I could parse a page to figure out which one was the cheapest yarn per yard, because when you sort them by price, they bring up the 25 yard skeins as the cheapest ones because there's only 25 yards. So anyway, but yeah, and then I just completely broke down and started buying yarn like a crazy person. So, But yeah, you got me started knitting, I think, and I never finished them because I just wanted to practice the knits and purls, some sort of mitts. Were they fetchings?
Yeah, the fetchings. That's what we were doing at work. So.
Yep. You got me started on that, and then pointed me at knittinghelp.com for the videos, and which are great. They do huge needles and huge yarn and do the same thing over and over and over and over again. I remember sitting in front of the computer doing it, and away I went.
Yeah. Mine was a much slower progression. I was throwing for the longest time, and I was so slow at throwing. I was a very, very slow knitter. And I was knitting blankets that were taking forever, and I was knitting scarves, and and I would go to the local yarn shop because this was, 2004, 5, 4 maybe, I don't know. It was before I had my kids, so yeah, 4, 3, I don't know.
What must that be like? I've never knit without having kids.
So there was a lot of like, oh, I went to the yarn store and like asked them, like I want to knit something else, show me something else. And, people had pointed me to Knitty, and that was out there, but, still like no Ravelry or very limited, and you're like, oh, okay, what's going on, When I first heard about it, I'm like, this sounds really neat, and I put myself on the waiting list, and I got in there pretty early, and that was exciting. That like made me grow like that much more.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about my acceleration, I had all of those things at my disposal at the very beginning. So like I was on Ravelry getting free patterns, seeing what other people were doing, seeing yarns reviewed, so that was kind of rocket fuel to my already kind of obsessive compulsive personality.
I do have to say that, how I say, well, I'm going to wait until retirement for spinning, blah, 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 or at least the wheel, because my God, I've been looking at them, like, just because people have been talking about all the ones that they're getting, and I'm like, what is that? Oh, wow, how much is that? Wow, like, I didn't realize how intricate and awesome.
Well, Laura was talking about getting 2 bobbins for Christmas for her parents, and I was like, oh, and then they were talking about how much they were. I was like, holy buckets.
Yeah, for a bobbin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just like, oh, okay, that's quite maybe in retirement. But then I also remember when I was first getting started knitting, watching a lady knit socks, and they were the tiniest little things, and she had the 4 double points going, and I'm like, I am never going to do that. Never. That just seems so fiddly for what you get, and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, there's holes in that. That was her, I never, holes.
Why would you ever do lace? Oh my gosh, So, yeah.
So I'm learning never say never, because I'm going to be spinning some silk in April.
Like a couple episodes said, she's was never going to be a designer either, and has a hat/envelope out there now.
Hat.
It's got a rat tail, man. Rocking the rat tail. 1990. Do you know how many kids in your grade had the rat tails?
90s. Oh, was it still the 90s?
Was it? I was in school. I remember being in elementary.
Okay.
So, and I was born in 1980. So,
okay.
10 would be the early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it was around late 80s?
Late 80s. It was probably late 80s.
Because I'm thinking of the people I knew that had them, and I'm like, that's kind of before I hit puberty.
And the biker shorts, did your grade go through the
little spandex shorts?
Yeah.
Play shorts or whatever they
are. Yep.
Yeah.
Lycra.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been all over the board today. Had a good laugh. Just to recap for you. Had a good laugh. Talked about how we got started knitting. And Amy's got a lot of stuff.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so everything got a little bit of love except for like 2 projects. So that was pretty much the whole shebang right there.
Everything on the needles.
Yeah.
Now.
Must work a little bit on everything.
Yep.
I don't know. It seemed more out of necessity, and I had some time. But sewing that thing up before Saturday is my goal.
Well, maybe that makes my decision easier then. If Christy's going to wear hers and you're going to wear yours.
Oh, we have to be the sisters. All wear them.
Yeah. Well, if you'd had your shalom done. Just kidding.
I am pacing myself.
Yes. Good for you. Way to show restraint, Amy.
It's hard.
It is. I'm sure it is.
I could be wearing it.
It's like instant gratification, right?
It was. It was. I could have been done in a week or two. I know Megan was like a week, but I could have been done in a week or two, even with all the other things I have on the needles. It was, especially that yoke part, that could have been done in no time.
A day.
Yeah. And then everything else was just like, yeah, if I wasn't knitting those socks, it'd be done. Because of how many stitches I put into those socks since then, it'd be done. But, yeah, again, we're not ending the show.
We just keep talking. And it really is hard to say goodbye.
No. It's so hard.
But I think it's interesting that we'll be able to look back at this, you know, and be like, not just have memories of me doing 5 cool Haas hats, but like be like, remember on the show when we talked about that?
Yeah.
And how different we are now as knitters?
I'm actually looking forward to
it's like
many years down the road.
Yeah. Self-documenting. Remember when Avery and I? All right. Anyway, come and join us in Lakeville on Saturday. The details are out on the forums, and another exciting episode.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll let you do.
All right. Happy knitting. Bye, Oofta.
Bye.